So on the record, I'm Charlotte Mitchell, Chair of the Utilities Commission. With me this morning are the following commissioners: Duffley, Hughes, actually strike Duffley, Hughes, McKissick, Kimwright, Brawley, and Tucker. In compliance with State Government Ethics Act, I remind members of the commission of our duty to avoid conflicts of interest and inquire at this time as to whether any member of the commission has a known conflict with respect to the matters coming before us this morning. No conflicts have been identified, so we will go ahead and proceed with public staff item 1.
Good morning. My name is David Williamson with the Public Staff's Energy Division. If it's all right, I'd like to do items 1 and 3. So just item 3 after item 1.
All right, you may do so.
Okay. Item 1 are applications by Duke Energy Progress and Duke Energy Carolinas for approval to offer a My Energy Bill Plus program as a voluntary program to provide customers with another option for bill certainty. This program will be offered as a pilot for 3 years with various filing requirements noted in the proposed order. I would like to note that there's a correction that needs to be made in the proposed order. It's on the 3rd page, 2nd paragraph, halfway down, and it starts with "according to Duke." I believe it's the 4th sentence. And it should read, "The bronze tier is achieved if a customer's actual usage does not exceed its predicted level by more than 3% for that billing period." This correction has been provided to the commission staff, and the public staff recommends that the commission approve this program request as modified for a 3-year pilot, including the annual filing requirements.
All right, thank you, Mr. Williamson. Your correction preempted one of my questions for you. All right, let's see if I can get a motion.
I'll move to approve.
As amended.
Yeah.
Second.
All right, it's been moved and seconded that the motion, that the item be approved as recommended by the public staff, noting the correction made on the stand. Questions or discussion? Commissioner McKissick.
Just 1 or 2 questions. Perhaps somebody from Duke might be able to address it. Seems like an interesting pilot, and certainly want to give customers, options, particularly when it comes to bill predictability. But I'm wondering how they plan to publicize this program, and who they feel like the most targeted market might be to get subscribers. Are people who are, choosing to select this option.
Right. So some of the marketing materials is something that the public staff is curious about, and that was addressed in some of our initial comments. But as far as the actual targeting of how Duke intends to target particular customers, it might actually be good for one of the Duke personnel to come and address that.
All right, Mr. Allen, you may proceed.
Good morning, Chair Mitchell, Commissioners. My name is Brady Allen. Outside counsel for Duke Energy. We do have a Sun Gandar is here today. She's a manager for solutions development for Duke Energy. She's happy to answer any questions.
All right, you may come on up.
So I think the question was about how
Yeah.
we would market.
Yeah, how do you plan to market the program? Because I understand what the program consists of, but I don't know how you plan to bring the program to the attention of consumers
Sure.
so they can make the option and to explain it, because explaining it may not be the easiest thing to do considering all the various levels
That's correct.
that are involved. It's more complex than most pilots that you might launch.
Of course. So first of all, what we would need to do is look at the eligibility. So I think it was noted in the filing that the customers have to be and the residents for 12 months and additional criteria. So at that point of time when we're ready to market, we would look at the eligibility, and then basically we work with our marketing team and then provide information on our site, as well as marketing through the different channels, whether it's direct mail, email, it all, very similar to a lot of the other marketing efforts that we have.
Okay. Well, it would be great to keep the commission posted as that proceeds, because I'd just be curious about how that would actually be launched.
Right.
Because the program is a little bit more complicated than many pilots.
Right. And we have said that we would definitely be having communication, sharing the marketing collaterals as
Sure.
use them. So
And it sounds like the public staff had a similar concern.
That's right. Just trying to ensure that the customers understand what the program is intended to do and how it's supposed to work for them, and hopefully not against them. So,
I concur. So we look forward to receiving more information as it progresses.
of course.
Thank you.
Thank you.
All right, any additional questions? All right, Commissioner Tucker.
Just quickly, what does voluntary fixed bill mean, and the fact that there's no true up? How does this all end in the whole process? Can you share that with me?
Of course. So what we want to do is offer a choice for our customers. So right now, I think we do have the budget billing, but what we do is look at, and I reference the eligibility. So for customers who have been in their residence for 12 months, and they're in good standing, what we are able to do is model and predict a fixed monthly bill amount for the next 12 months. It's voluntary if they decide to participate, and there is no true up at the end of the 12 months. So that is the fixed bill.
So you say the bill's $100 a month, and it's $1,200 for the year for the customer, and there's no true up, and they used more power than the $1,200. Where's that money?
So sure, as part of the fixed bill, there are some additional adders that are added, such as the risk adder, which is related to weather, as well as the usage adder. So there is a little bit of the adders that are added to the quote. Now, the additional things that I think you mentioned about the bronze, there are incentives built in for the customers that if we set a target for their monthly usage, and if they meet or come below that peak usage, then they will get the adder back. So it is basically a bill certainty program, but we are incentivizing the customers to be able to earn their usage premium back by conserving energy based on their target.
So you think customers will really be able to understand what you just said and
Well,
be able to apply it and understand the adders, et cetera, and it's going to be a successful program? I'm just asking.
right. So we've had a program very similar to this in other jurisdictions, as well as we have great marketing team, and part of it is education, as well as being able to explain to them. And one of the things that was included is the MyHer experience. We're wanting to give the customers tips, ways to conserve energy, as well as the monthly usage credit. We'll be sending them on a monthly basis, their target, as well as tips and where they are. So it is something that we would be engaging on a kind of monthly basis with any of these customers that have signed up.
and Commissioner
Okay.
Tucker, if I could just add to that. So one of the mechanics of the program will be to use 12 months of prior history for their usage. And so they're going to have the ability to take the previous year, their total usage, and use that in the equation to figure out, well, if they used, let's just say 1,000 kilowatt hours each month, they're generally going to be around there going forward. But they're like what she was saying, there are some incentives in there to try and reduce usage to lower that monthly bill certainty. So in this instance, it kind of encourages the implementation of efficiency items and acknowledges that a customer has implemented efficiency items and that their bill would be reduced accordingly, and it wouldn't be a after the fact type recognition in the next My Energy Bill Plus bill proposal.
So the tips to reduce the electric bill, how are they communicated? Internet, mail, or in-home visit?
So currently the MyHer program has a couple different channels. They have a printed bill format, but they also have an electronic format through email that they give to different, depending on which selection the customer prefers, email or paper, and it generally comes a few times a year.
Okay, thank you.
Yeah, I don't know if you're the one that can tell me this, but do you have a rough idea of what percentage of customers are in your budget billing program?
Right now, I think for budget billing, approximately 10% in DC, 8% in the DC is 10% of the customers, and DEP about 8%.
And thank you for that. I know it's not under any program that requires an EMV. But has Duke looked at that group and compared it to non-budget based customers and kind of done any analysis about how that program might affect usage?
How it would affect the.
Just the budget-based billing, how that has affected usage. In other words, has Duke looked at the people that in the past have chosen budget-based billing? What impact has that had on usage? I mean, I think there's some economic theory that would suggest doing budget-based billing distances a customer from the pricing signal, and thereby I think the hypothesis would be once you went to budget-based billing, you would actually use more electricity than if you weren't in the program. And I just wondered if Duke had done any analysis.
Sure. For the budget billing, you will get a set monthly amount, but there is a true up at the end. So I think before it was on an annual basis. So they look at your usage, and let's say if it was $100, but then your usage became more than $1,200, your next set of set monthly payments would increase by certain increments. The fixed bill is a little different in the sense that there is no true up at the end, but we actually have some of these risk premiums and usage premiums. Going back to your question about, customer sentiments and what they think about, I think we did, of course, some preliminary voice of customer feedback to understand their desire to have a bill certainty type of program like fixed bill, and it was very positive. I think there was some reference to that in the filing.
Well, I appreciate that. I guess my concern is just we spend a lot of energy on tariff design and unit pricing and the balance between the fixed portion of the bill and the variable portion of the bill. And I just, I myself am on budget billing. I'm just continue to be a little concerned that we're going at cross purposes. So on one end, we are taking efforts to make sure that the unit price reflects the cost and the customers are aware of that, kind of like, if you're at a gas pump, you're watching the pump go, and if it's $4, you're using less than if it's $3. I just have been really curious, once we do budget-based billing in today's environment where people don't always have time to click through their paperless billing, I continue to be worried and concerned that we are distancing customers from the actual financial impact of the next use. Now, I like this program because you're trying to go back after the fact and get customers to pay more attention. So I support this program, but I just have just really scratched my head with the budget billing because the people I've talked to, once they go to budget billing, they seem to be on autopilot. I know they can click through the bill and they can go to their portal. I know they can do all that, but just in my circle, which may not be representative of the customer basis, once they do budget billing, they've essentially checked out of paying attention to their bill.
So Commissioner Hughes, just to, I guess, address that a little bit, in a similar fashion to a previous kind of budget billing, the Equal Payment Plan Weather Protect, which is a very similar no true up situation. One of the recommendations the public staff had in that case, as well as in this instance, was to go on a pilot with several filing requirements. And similar to this instance, the company has agreed to also go on a pilot for this program, in addition to several other filing requirements. And some of those filing requirements are intended to try and get a better understanding of where customers would have been not on this program versus where they ended up at the end of this program. And so hopefully at the end of this pilot period, we'll have a much better understanding about how customers are using electricity while on this type of program.
No, I look forward to that. And if there ever is an analysis of the budget bill program, just as it is now, I would love to see it, just for curiosity purposes.
I think one additional comment I'll make is that, you know, if a person is enrolled in in My Energy Bill, and, you know, they're far away from the bill, as you mentioned, and maybe consuming more, you have to know that when they do the renewal, it's basically for the next year, it'll be based on their actual usage. And as I mentioned, we're going to be communicating them on a monthly basis, setting targets for them for their usage. So hopefully we're messaging them enough that, you know, they have different channels that they're able to see their consumption and be able to be closer to their bill.
No, I think it's a great, like I said, I think you're trying to compensate for people. So I wish you luck. I look forward to it. Thanks.
All right, any additional questions? Just a reminder, there's a motion that's been seconded to approve the recommendation of the public staff. All in favor indicate with an aye. Is there anyone opposed? All right, that motion carries. All right, we will proceed now to public staff item 3.
So before I get started with item 3, I just wanted to have another piece of clarity. The summary page notes this as a Duke Energy progress related item, but the proposed, it's actually related to a North Carolina EMC item, and the proposed order that was provided is correct. It does address NCEMC. All right. Item 3 is an application for a new certificate of public convenience and necessity and a registration statement for a 4.99 megawatt solar facility. Public staff recommends that the commission approve this application, issue the certificate, and accept the registration statement.
All right, it's moved and seconded that the item be approved as recommended by the public staff. Any questions or discussion on the motion? All right,
Question.
all right, you may proceed, Commissioner Tucker.
Just one question. Would the public staff look at the cost of the transmission line for a 4.99 watt solar facility?
I myself I'm unaware of any transmission related costs for this particular project. I'm not sure if someone, I'm sure we can get that information for you if you need it. It'd be the applicant, so it'd be NCEMC.
Who pays for the transmission line?
I'm not sure in this instance who would pay, but I can get that information for you. Okay.
Just the cost of what it is.
Sure.
Who pays for it?
And that is that if it's specifically transmission, or if it's just okay.
Make it work.
Okay.
Sampson County way out there, and how far is it from the main line, and what the cost would be?
Sure.
I mean, just for my own edification.
Absolutely. We can get that for you.
Cost, the real cost.
Yes, sir.
Okay, thank you, sir.
All right, any additional questions on the motion? All right, hearing none, all in favor indicate with an aye. Is there anyone opposed? All right, that motion carries. Thank you, Mr. Williamson.
Thank you.
All right, we will move back to public staff item 2.
Good morning, Commissioners. My name is Jeff Thomas. I'm an engineer with the Electric Division, and I have item P2. Electric item 2 is a application for a certificate of environmental compatibility and public convenience and necessity by Duke Energy Progress to construct a transmission line in Chatham County, North Carolina, which includes a motion for waiver of notice and hearing requirements. This is a half-mile, 230 kilovolt transmission tap line that interconnects to the existing Asheboro Siler City transmission line to provide services to a Wolfspeed semiconductor manufacturing facility at the Chatham County Siler City Advanced Manufacturing Site. The public staff has reviewed the application and believes it meets the certificate requirements and the conditions for waiver of notice and hearing requirements. Therefore, I recommend the Commission approve the motion for waiver and issue the requested certificate.
I make a motion to approve as presented.
All right, it's been moved and seconded that the item be approved as recommended by the public staff. Questions on the motion? Go ahead, Commissioner Tucker.
Jeff, again, the cost of the transmission line will be borne by Duke.
Yes, it's a $2.7 million transmission line, and that cost is borne by Duke, similar to many expansion
Okay,
projects.
the feds just put out about $50 billion for chip manufacturing grants around. There's no opportunity for Duke to apply for some of those dollars to do this transmission line for Wolfspeed since it's a chip manufacturer.
To my knowledge, no, that's not, there's no, my knowledge is that there's no grants that are making up this cost, but as to whether or not the CHIPS Act offers investor-owned utilities funds for those types of projects, I'm not certain. I know that Duke is applying for other transmission projects through other DOE funding, but for this particular one, I do not know if they actually applied for that.
Okay, thank you, sir. Thank you, Madam Chair.
All right, any additional questions on the motion? All right, hearing none, all in favor indicate with an eye. Is there anyone opposed? All right, that motion carries. Thank you, Mr.
Thank you.
Thomas. All right, commission has before us for approval our minutes from the January 29th staff conference. I'll take a motion, please. All right, it's been moved and seconded that those minutes be approved. Questions or discussion there? All in favor indicate with an eye. Anyone opposed? All right, our minutes are approved. All right, next up, additional business for the commission. Sam, you may come on up.
Good morning. I'd like to introduce two new commission staff attorneys that have started with us. First, Kim Morrell, who joined us on January the 22nd. She graduated from UNC and law at North Carolina Central. She's been with the AG's office for the last 10 years. And then secondly, joining us this morning is Melissa Walker. She earned her bachelor's degree from UNC, JD from Campbell Law, and an LLM from the University of London. She's also recently been with the AG, and she was in private practice here in Raleigh for 10 years before that. She actually clerked at both the Court of Appeals and the Supreme Court. So we're happy to have both of these with us and joining our staff.
All right, well, welcome, Kim and Melissa. We appreciate your willingness to get up here in front of us, especially you on your first day today. But we are excited that you're here to join us. Look forward to getting to know you and working with you. Anything y'all want to say today while you have the chance?
Just that we look forward to working with you.
All right, well, thank you very much. And again, welcome to the team. Thanks, Sam. All right, any additional business for the commission? All right, before we adjourn for the morning, if I may, I want to take a moment and recognize a member of the commission staff that we lost over the weekend. Anna Williams was a member of our pipeline safety section. Many of you may not be aware of our pipeline safety team. They do very important work on behalf of the residents of North Carolina, and Anna was a member of that team. She lost on Friday evening her long and arduous battle with cancer, and I can attest that she fought hard. She, as is the case with most of our pipeline safety inspectors, they're stationed near their points of inspection, and so they are seldom in the office, but they are frequently out and about in various parts of the state. Her home base was Sparta, and she served in the western part of the state. I personally knew Anna to be a dedicated and capable inspector. And she was a delightful person. Every time I had the opportunity to interact with her here in the Dobbs, she had a smile on her face. And I will always remember that. I've heard from her colleagues in the pipeline safety section, and I will share with you the way they described her. Their words were touching to me. They described her as a wonderful friend, a fantastic inspector, a special coworker, a truly wonderful human being, a loss for the section, but also most importantly for the residents of North Carolina whom she served. She was excellent at her job. We know that. We have confidence in that. But more importantly, she was a kind and a wonderful friend and colleague here among those of us in the Dobbs building. Steve, Brooks, Hillary, Harry, Michelle, Ryan, and Felicia. We know this is especially tough on you all, and our hearts are with you. And we recognize Anna today for her contributions to our work that we do and for the truly wonderful human being that she was. All right, with that, we will be adjourned. Let's go off the record, please. Thank you.